Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. This is amazing. I am just setting up my other device. I have both of you here today. I have my TikTok and I have my YouTube, and I am so grateful. This technology thing is amazing, right? How often do you get to go live and talk to the world with with our devices? I think it's brilliant. I'm so happy that you are here. Guys, have you ever made a bucket list? Have you ever made a bucket list? This is my question today. What is it that you have dreamed about doing and you've been a little nervous, right, to see it come true? Do you have a bucket list? That's my question. Type yes in the comments. Do you have a bucket list? Now, bucket list is like your dreams, all the things that you've ever wanted to do, places you wanted to go, things you wanted to see happen. Do you have a bucket list? Put that in the comments, right? I'd love to see. Do you have one? Do you look at it? Are you adding to it constantly? Right? Tell me about this. Tell me about your bucket list. I want to know. Is this something you're doing? Is this something you're even interested in? I I think I made one. So confession time. I think I made one. It's been a long time. And it's actually time for me to make one. So I guess I'm looking for some validation, some encouragement. Go for it. Get that bucket list done. Anybody? Go ahead, type yes in the comments. So Cynthia's here, Cindy's here. Thank you for joining me. This is amazing. Do you have a bucket list? And I want to tie that into how that can help or hinder your financial freedom. Okay, have you ever put the two together? Does your bucket list help or hinder your financial freedom? Hello, Glenda. Welcome. You guys are amazing. Hey, Maxine. This is awesome. Hey, tell me in the comments if you have a bucket list. Give me a yes. Give me a yes if you have a bucket list, right? You already heard my confession time. I don't have a bucket list. I had one a long time ago. And here's my story. I hated making those things. I hated putting down all your dreams, right? And you're kind of forced to do it. In the situations that I've been in, it was never just a private movement and I'm going to say, I'm going to fill in my diary of all the things I want to do. And it was always in a group setting. And so that pressure of the people around you and the instructor of the class or whatever we're doing is like, hey, make a bucket list. You've got 10 minutes, go. And so I was forced to do it. And of course, there's things I want to do, places I want to go. But my problem, the way I looked at it, made me depressed. It was frustrating. It made me feel guilty like, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you made these things happen yet? And I didn't enjoy that process at all. So tell me, if you've had a bucket list, tell me in the comments. Hey, Roxy, tell me if you have had a bucket list. Put that in the comments. Yes, I have a bucket list. Are you filling it out? Is it something you look at regularly? Is it in a place where you can see it around your room? Or is it tucked away in a drawer somewhere? And I want to discuss how having these hopes and dreams, your bucket list, actually affects your financial freedom. Okay, I want to get you to that place where you can understand that those hopes and dreams can actually be the motivation to get you started in the right direction with your finances. It's weird how they tie together because sometimes we look at our bucket list and it's a whole bunch of wishes, you know, did you put things on your bucket list like, "I wish I could go to the moon"? Or did you say, "I wish I could afford to fill my gas tank completely all the way full"? Like, what's on your bucket list? What would make something really exciting happen for you? And we're going to talk about how to put that together with financial freedom. I learned how to do budgeting years ago. And I'm not doing a budgeting course right now, right? I'm just giving you the context of why I want to talk about this, because there's 2 ways to manage your money. And if you have a bucket list, if you have a dream board, vision board, things you would love to do, right? You and your spouse have always talked about that cruise you wanted to go on. How do you make it happen? Because it's possible. And so that's the first place we have to start, right? Your attitude about your bucket list. And like I said, my attitude, I was not into it. It made me upset and frustrated because my hopes and dreams were so big that I never saw a way to make it happen. So I'm touching on budgeting. Have you ever done your budget? Right? When I was in my 20s, I thought I was budgeting when I paid my bills on time. Did you know that's not a budget? And I thought that was what a budget was for the longest time. I paid my bills on time. I must have I'm doing a budget. Like, I was pre-planning my bills. I would write them on the calendar and knew when they were due and how much money I had to hold back every paycheck to make sure that I could get that bill paid. Have you ever lived like that? Have you ever lived just, I hope I have enough money. I want to plan to have enough money to pay that bill. That's not a budget. When I learned what a budget was, that was painful, and it kinda takes me back to that bucket list. It brought reality to pen and paper, like, it was real. You couldn't avoid the facts. You could not avoid the facts that your financial situation wasn't what you needed it to be. It wasn't what you wanted it to be, right? So we're talking about the budget and your bucket list of things to do and how to have financial freedom. And how do you do that? Well, if you've ever done your budget, this is what you got to do. You take a list of all your expenses. And I actually used to do my bills with like a checkbook system. It was an online thing, but I would type in, where I've spent the money and I would categorize it. That's what a checkbook. I know I'm showing my age. We used to have checks back 100 years ago, and you could categorize what that was for and what, budget item that was. Was it groceries? Was it gas? Was it utilities, right? You categorized it. So I went into that program and I said, "Okay, tell me how much did I spend on utilities this month, this year?" Right? And the computer could do its thing really quick. And boom, I got a number. And it took a while. I mean, like days, right? Because who wants to spend 8 hours a day looking at your finances? Right? When you are learning about money, when you get your first job and you're learning about money, nobody wants to spend their time looking at this stuff. And here I am 100 years later telling you, you have to look at this stuff. If you want to be a six-figure income earner, that's what they do. Every single month, they spend time on this. So, number 1, you've got to start there. Look at your finances and get really uncomfortable because that's the only way things are going to change. So you look at your budget and you say, okay, this is really painful. These were all my expenses for the month, right? If you're brand new, look at your month. If you have some records, you can look at your past records and say, this is what I did all year long, right? If you're one of those people that uses a credit card, sometimes that already categorizes things for you. You say, like, give me a report. I want to see this. What did I spend on dining out? What did I spend on entertainment, like movies and concerts? What did I spend on groceries and gas and utilities, right? All of it has to be out so you can see and get very clear where your money went. You are just scratching the surface of what a budget is. Okay, you've got to get clear, where did your money go up until today? After that, okay, this is where the fun is. Look at your income. What did you bring in this month? What did you bring in this year? I always liked the year because then it was like, oh, we made overtime. Oh, there was a bonus. Oh, I got a check from grandma, right? Like I could count all that money and it helped how my expenses looked for the year. Because otherwise, if I relied on my monthly steady paycheck, what I spent didn't make any sense because I was so over the amount of money I had made. And guys, if you're doing this with your spouse, right, expect it to take longer because you're going to have some really uncomfortable conversations. If you are looking at two incomes and two people spending money, that's going to get really uncomfortable. And how do you put together what we spent, but how much we made? That's when you're peeling the layers back, right? If you want to have a millionaire mindset, you've got to start on how do you manage money. If you want financial freedom, you have to look at how you're spending money. You have to have a monthly accountability, an accounting system, okay? From there, once you have that, all the good and the bad and ugly of what you spent and how much you made, now you can start a budget. Now you can decide, all right, if I spend $500 on gasoline every month for my car, then I better make sure I have that money in my budget. And you start making line items of what to expect for the month, what to expect for the year. Maybe your car insurance is every 6 months. You can start anticipating and planning. Okay, if my car insurance is $600 every 6 months, then every month I've got to put aside $100. $100, and then that 6 months rolls around and I've got $600 to pay that car insurance. And you know what's cool? Many of our bills actually went down because when I paid something in full, I got a discount. So those are great things you get to look forward to when you start getting onto a budget. So the reason I want you to start there, right? We've talked about our bucket list. We're talking about our budget and how to get to financial freedom. You have to see the black and white numbers. What's going on? If you want to have a six-figure income, if you want to be a millionaire, you have to know these numbers. And I'm encouraging you to do that hard stuff. Today's Labor Day. We are in the US. I'm in Idaho. My name is Tammy. I have been a 30-year stay-at-home mom and wife, and then an empty nester, and now a grandma. And when this is all relatable. This is how I know budgets tell the truth. It's black and white because my husband retired. He got his pension and it was You know what? In the last few years, we've had some inflation and things don't cost what they used to cost. But here's my fixed income. Here's my check. This is what we got. And it was like, oh, this isn't enough because we've done our budget. We know this isn't enough. And he said, somebody's got to go back to work. And since I've been a stay at home for 30 years, that thought of getting a job terrified me. I was not about to do that. I didn't want to lose my freedom. Right? If you're a stay at home, you know how much fun we have, what our freedom feels like. And I didn't want to give that up. So my husband decided he's going to be the one to go back to work and make that extra income that we needed. And I got really guilty. I said, oh, honey, you have worked so hard for us. And it stinks. It's frustrating. It made me so angry that what he worked so hard for wasn't enough for our future. And it made me sit back and say, I've got to do something about this. And I can do something about this. Over the 30 years, I've had 7 different businesses. My husband's had several businesses. But I was just looking back over my 30 years. Hello. I found 7 different businesses that I wanted to do from home to make extra income. And they ended up being just hobby businesses. They ended up being tax write-offs because I had a loss. Now, that's great, right? It helps your tax situations to have write-offs, but that wasn't what I was hoping for. I was hoping to make extra income, not to cost us money and have tax write-offs. So instead, I found digital marketing 3 months ago. I literally found digital marketing just 3 months ago. And I have a way to make extra income from home, 2 hours a day with my cell phone, and I get to use social media. That hit so many great places in me because it was like, I finally found the perfect fit. But it started with, what is it you want out of life? What are the things you want to do, and can you afford it? And we decided, no, things are too expensive. So what are we going to do about it? We took our budget, we took our income, and we found there's a discrepancy. Our expenses are higher than our income or the things we want to do, right? Because there's 2 ways to manage money. There's 2 ways. You can either cut expenses, right? Look for that cheaper auto insurance. Stop going to Starbucks. I mean, how many times have you heard that, right? If you cut out things from your budget, you can make them equal again. That's the thing. You want your income to match your expenses. Great. So you have 2 choices. I need to cut things out. And are you going to cut your gas budget? Probably not, because you have to get to work. And if gas costs this much, then my budget better say there better be money in there so I can get to work. Having a job's expensive, right? Do you have a clothing budget? Does your income allow you to have the clothing budget you need to do the job, to make the money, to pay the gas, right? Do you see how a 9-to-5 job, having jobs is expensive? And I want you to understand that there's 2 ways to manage your money. You either cut stuff out, or what's your other option? What's your other option? You could make more money. Are you with me? Are you with me? Give me a 1 in the comments if you're with me. Do you understand? There's 2 ways to manage money. You either cut expenses, and that's really tough because what are you going to cut? You're probably going to really cut the expenses. Dina knows. Tina literally knows what I'm talking about. You have to cut the vacations. You have to cut the entertainment because there's the other things you need. You gotta start cutting out all the fun drinks you're buying. Drinks are expensive. If you could just do one line item on drinks alone, you would know that that's painful. You don't wanna cut out those fun things, right? You don't wanna cut out snacks and junk food and drinks, but when it comes to your choices, what are you choosing to do? Many of us cut expenses to make our income and the things we need match, or you go out and get that second job. And what happens when you get a second job? I need more gas money. I need more clothing allowance. Now there's more wear and tear on my car. That's how do you make this happen? The struggle's real. So when I found digital marketing, I found a way that I could work from home. I'm here anyway. I can use my cell phone. How many of you would give up your cell phones? That's terrifying, right? We live and die for our cell phones. We need that connection. We want to know what our family's doing. We want to be reachable in a moment for our family. And so, no, we're not giving up our cell phones. I'm going to bite that bullet and pay the $1,000 for my cell phone and the plan to keep it going, right? We don't cut those things out. And then social media is free. So what do? We end up cutting out going to the movies, going on vacations, but we'll sit and scroll on our phone because now that becomes our entertainment. We're watching things on YouTube because it's free. And when I found digital marketing and I saw that I get to use my cell phone and I can use social media, things I have anyway in my life, and I can make an income, that's choice number 2, making extra money to heal your budget and to start dreaming again. We talked about having a bucket list. What are the things you want to do? What are you dreaming about? And for me, I hated thinking about that because it was frustrating to know those things are more like wishes, right? If I could wish upon a star, that's where I would be. Because how else is this going to happen? How else do I get to take that cruise? How else do I get to buy drinks, Starbucks every day, the things I enjoy. For me, I enjoy books, right? I love having books and Audible, like, we're paying for services and things that we enjoy, and we don't wanna cut those out. So having extra income solves that problem. But then we run up against another problem, right? We talked about it's going to affect your gas bill. It's going to affect your car maintenance. It's going to affect your clothing bill. And how about eating out? How many of you are packing a lunch to everything you're doing? You don't want to be seen as that person, right? There's a lot of peer pressure about when your finances aren't the way you want them to be. Are you going to work with a packed lunch or are you eating out? This is so common. When you go to the gas station and you grab that snack or that drink because you haven't eaten yet today, and you're spending 2 and 3 times more than if you had just bought it at the grocery store, that's expensive. And here, okay, I'm going to get a $2 hot dog at the gas station because it's convenient. You're hurting your budget. You're hurting your budget, but it was convenient. And if you're working 2 jobs, you aren't home to have home-cooked meals and save the money. So that's why we talked about, do you have a budget? Do you know what it looks like, black and white? You want a 6-figure income, you have to do a budget. You want to be a millionaire, you have to know where every dime is going. When you manage your home budget, you can manage a business budget and beyond. You want to grow your income, you have to start there. You have to understand money and you have to decide. You have to make hard choices. Do I cut expenses or do I work harder and work longer? And I'm here to offer you another suggestion, another solution. If you go to nevertoolateincome.com and put your email in, you will get an email from me and it'll describe digital marketing. Digital marketing for me has solved so many problems and it's giving me energy and hope for the things I want to do, the things I enjoy doing. I want to have the income to afford that. I want that for you too. If you are struggling with your finances, I want you to look at digital marketing. You can work 2 hours a day on your cell phone with social media. That's why I love this so much. We've talked a lot of things today. We've talked about having your bucket list. We've talked about having a budget. And how do you make the extra income to make things happen? So what do you want in a business, right? That was another thing. I've talked about getting a job. Is job really the solution? And I don't think so. I think having a business is a better solution. And as someone who's had 7 different businesses, I can attest to the fact that businesses do work. Otherwise, we'd all just have jobs. Somebody's got to be the business owner so I can have a job to go to. I'd rather be the business owner. And if you've ever heard of Robert Kiyosaki, and there's a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that was my first introduction to why having a business, being a business owner, so tops all the other choices we have, right? So if you've not heard of that book or you haven't heard of Robert Kiyosaki, look up Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because if you are nervous, if you are scared to start a business, to have a business, to run a business, it's brand new, you've never done that before, this is a great place to start because it'll help change your mind about being a business owner. My first business after I lost my job, I was fired from my job and I had 2 babies. I started my own business and I was a digital artist and I created real estate flyers for realtors, back 100 years ago. And that was tough. I had the skills. I knew how to do the work. I didn't have marketing skills. I didn't know how to bring in more clients. And when you're a one-person show, that is tough. And with 2 babies in the back seat, that's really tough. I didn't have those skills. I didn't have the skills on marketing, but I had the skills on how to make the real estate flyers and postcards. And I had the skills to negotiate a price at the copy shop. I went in and negotiated, if I bring you this much volume, what discount will you give me? And I must have got a newbie. I don't know what, but they gave me such a deep discount. I was forever grateful because it made the business profitable with the number of people I had, but I started losing clients. Things changed. The market changed, right? When the market's really hot, nobody needs a flyer. Nobody needs a postcard. You just have to have realtor after your name and you can buy and sell, help your customers. But when the market's slow, that's when they needed me. And I need more postcards. I need more flyers. Oh, you didn't do this right. You didn't do that font big enough. You didn't make my picture big enough. You didn't make my phone number they were nitpicky. because the market was slow and they needed somebody to blame. So I'm telling you, having a business is amazing, but it's tough when you are a one-man show. So let me tell you about digital marketing and why I think this is the perfect fit. It's the best business right now. That's what I think. And number one, the 2-hour workday. 2-hour workday, right? When I said I made real estate flyers, I've also done MLM. I've also was a home business. I'm raising my kids. I'm homeschooling my kids. Having a 2-hour workday solved so many problems, right? You can work from home 2 hours a day and have the rest of the day to do the things you do, to have your hobbies, to have your appointments, to join your clubs, to be there for your family. When your family's in crisis and in need, you want to be able to drop everything and be there. You want to do something for them. And having a 2-hour workday makes that possible. So what does a 2-hour workday for a digital marketer look like? 1 hour is going live. And I'll tell you what, I have been on TikTok 2.5 months. I've only gone live maybe a week and a half. I had to build up to that. I needed some confidence. I needed some direction. I needed to know what it looked like. So I was asking a lot of people. I was watching lives. What is it they're doing? How do they do that? What does the screen look like? And if you were nervous about going live, just know when you go live on TikTok, they give you a practice session. You get to see what it looks like and where to type your name and where to type a title and all these things, right? You get to practice that experience. So just know that you just learn as you go. So my 2-hour workday is going live, and it's also making content. I get to make 3 pieces of content a day, and that's fun. If you've ever been nervous about how to do something, sometimes, yes, you need the education, you need the direction, but at this point, it's just fun. When I say I get to work 2 hours a day with my cell phone and I get to use social media, those are the highlights for me. I love this part. And they call this work. I get to be creative. I get to work wherever I want, in my backyard, in my room, on a trip. You can make content anywhere. And then you put your signature touch on that. You get to talk a little bit about your life and you get to talk a little bit about your business. In a 2-hour workday, guys, there's no comparison, right? When you say, I'm going to have a business and I have to run all over town and I have to deliver and ship and make things, or maybe you've had an MLM and you're always on your phone texting and DMing and making these one-on-one appointments with people and conversations with people and three-way calls with people. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of effort. That takes a lot of bandwidth up here. And I wasn't willing to do that again. And in digital marketing, I can work just 2 hours a day. And I get to use social media. I get to talk to the world. I get to share my experiences and people get to know me and can trust me and understand how much I love this business in comparison to everything else. So if you want to have a 6-figure income, I want you to get very clear, very black and white about your budget and what your needs really are. And then ask yourself, What business would best suit me to make extra income? Or am I willing to cut things out of my life? Right? If am I willing to cut out eating 5 days a week and cut it down to 1 day a week, maybe saving that extra $1,000, $2,000 would make a huge impact in your budget, right? If you come face to face with what it is that's sucking up your money, then you can say, "Oh, I can make a different choice. I can make a different decision." But if you are so baseline and there's nothing else you wanna cut, because those cuts will hurt. It'll suck all the joy out of your life. Then you need to make extra income. And how do you do that? I'm suggesting digital marketing. Nevertoolateincome.com is my page, and you can get the information about digital marketing. So 2-hour workday, we talked on that. I'm looking at my notes. Give me half a second. All right, so since we're talking about money, I'm gonna go to this tip. There's no monthly fees. If your budget is so tight, why would you want to start a business that's going to cost you money every single month? Every MLM I have been in costs money every single month. Did you know that? When you're choosing a business and someone presents you with the idea of joining a multi-level marketing company, network marketing company, you have to pay every single month. And it's not a scam, it's just another way of doing business. It's another way of making an income, and it's commission based. And those commissions can be 1% to 7%. That's the business I was in. And I had to work really hard to make 1 to 7%. I had to buy product every month, $100, $200 of product every month. So the people above me could be making 2 and 3 and 4 and 7%. And then I had to keep recruiting. That's why I was on my phone all the time. Guys, these were 8-hour days, and the trainings and everything was so much. And that's what allowed me to make an income. If I kept recruiting more and more people who were willing to spend $100 a month. Sell that. To make 1%. Right? I would rather have a one-time cost and have no monthly fees. So again, I'm going to harp on this. I get to work 2 hours a day on my cell phone using social media. Free social media. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. These are free platforms that allow me to talk to the world, and I can tell people about what I have to offer. I have found a business that lets me work from home and be with my family and earn an income. And I don't have to waste 10 hours of my day trying to do that. And I don't have to work a 9 to 5 and keep putting gas into my car and clothing and, you know, the budget for your hair and nails and all the things that you do to look professional in your job. Or maybe you have a trade job. You've got to still buy the right kind of shoes, right? These are things that cost money and you really don't even think twice about it. Lunches out, things that cost money that you don't think about versus having a business that is a one-time fee and no monthly fees, and it's your own business. That's why I like digital marketing. So I've said this multiple times. It's a one-time fee, and you make 100% profit. When I was in MLMs, I was not making 100% profit. I was making 1 to 7%. And here is what the product is. It's $900. I invested $900 to an educational program that has mentoring program. It's living, breathing, it's growing all the time. There's a 600, there's a 300, and there's a 100. Right? There's something for everybody. If you are curious about digital marketing, well, first of all, get your information, put your email in at nevertoolateincome.com and get your information, but then look at the programs that are available. Do you want to just figure this out and learn a little bit how you can be better at marketing? Then look at the Launchpad. It's $100. And I jumped in at Legacy Builders, $900, because I wanted it all. And this is what I mean by I wanted it all. When you join Legacy Builders for $900, you get 4 income streams. 4 income streams means when I sell Legacy Builders, I will make 100% profit. $900 goes directly into my bank account. Does that sound good? Will that make a difference in your life? $900 a week? We talked about our budget and how do you make room for everything you want. We talked about having a bucket list. And is it depressing and frustrating, or is it exciting? I get to add to my bucket list because I'm making $900 a week or $900 a day. How many people can I help solve this income and expenses problem with digital marketing? And $900 goes directly into my account that day. When I worked MLMs, it's once a month. You got paid once a month, and it was like the 15th of the next month. I wasn't paid when somebody purchased because that company had to sit on that and ship it and then wait and see, was there any returns? Because those returns would come out of my income and I couldn't make the money on things that got returned. So I wouldn't get paid if somebody bought something today. I wouldn't realize that 1% to 7% for 45 days. When I had my own business, when I was a digital marketer, I had to invoice my clients. How long would it take for them to send me payment? When you sell digital marketing, you are paid that day. 100% profit. So there's 4 income streams. That's one reason I went with Legacy Builders. I wanted all the information. It's an e-learning platform and it's a mentoring program. And when I came in with Legacy Builders, I had the other 3 products I could also sell. If you come in at the $100 product, the Launchpad, you can sell the $100 product. You have master resale rights to this product, and you can resell it. You can earn while you are learning. These programs and mentoring is available to you all the time, and it's continually growing. There's daily mentoring, and these classes are evolving. So when new technology comes out or something's changed, they can update the e-classes, the video classes, to reflect what's going on right now. So maybe you join at 100 and then you want to upgrade. When you upgrade, now you can sell the $300 product and the $100 product. you see where I'm going with this? So when I wanted 4 income streams, I chose Legacy Builders, and I said, "This is going to give me 4 income streams. I can provide resources for my stay-at-homes, for my Gen Xers, who knows retirement's coming. I'm a little lucky to call myself retired because my husband retired. I'm a stay-at-home. He retired, I got to retire. But we looked at our budget and we looked at our income and we looked at our expenses and the things we wanted, and there's a discrepancy. We had to make extra income. And I chose Legacy Builders. And when I chose Legacy Builders, I didn't even really know what I was getting into. I thought when I heard the word digital marketing, I thought I get to sell something on Etsy. You're going to teach me what I need to know to be able to sell on Etsy. And I was like, no, it's really, really different. Chris, you are so sweet. Look at you. Thank you. I love ice cream. You are so kind. I appreciate you so much. I love that the community supports each other. Do you realize when I talk about getting into Legacy Builders and there's an e-learning program, there's also a community. And Chris is in the community, and she and I have communicated many times. And I can support her, and she supports me. And when your family isn't behind you 100%, it's nice to know that there's other independent business owners that will cheer you on. They love digital marketing so much. They want the world to know about that they're willing to support other business owners. There's room for all of us. So I want you to look at nevertoolateincome.com and get more information. I've only touched on a few things about digital marketing. There's so much more I can talk about. But let's go back to what we talked about, having your bucket list. How do you feel about your bucket list now? Are you excited to actually achieve those things that are on your bucket list? Have you changed your mind that these things are going to be possible? I have a way to make those things possible. I changed my mind. I had a bucket list, and that bucket list hurt to look at. I didn't want to dwell there because I didn't see a way to make it happen. And I've changed my mind. Isn't that beautiful? In the 3 months I've been in Legacy Builders, I feel like a brand new person. I have so much hope, so much confidence that I can make things that I want, things I've only dreamed about, and they actually kind of turn to wishes because I just didn't see a way to make it happen. And now I can. On 2 hours a day with my cell phone, and I get to use social media. Guys, I hope you are more excited about the possibilities, how you can make extra income and meet your expenses and exceed those expenses and have the things you really want to have. But you've got to look at your budget. You cannot be a 6-figure income earner and you don't know how your money's being spent. If you can't manage your money now, what makes you think you're going to be able to manage money with a budget, with a business? You have to build those skills, and you can do that. These things aren't hard. The only thing that's hard is because it's new, and that's normal. That's so normal. When you do something new and it's uncomfortable and it's challenging, and what you expect, it's new. Once you get it going, once you build on those skills and you get to practice, you get to learn how to do these things, it gets better, it gets easier, And then it gets to the fun part. You get to have fun with it. And that's why I wake up every day and I'm excited to have this business. And I can't wait to tell my other Gen Xers, my other stay-at-homes, anyone struggling with their budget and their expenses. You can have a business that is 2 hours a day. You can have a business that there's no other monthly fees. When you're looking at other businesses, when you're looking to get a second job, ask these questions. Do you pay 100% profit in your MLM? When do you get paid? Does it take a month? 45 days? Or are you paid immediately? Guys, I haven't even talked about all the automations and all the other cool things about the business. But if you are interested, go to nevertoolateincome.com, put your email in, and get that information. In fact, there's a free blueprint, and a blueprint's just a plan. What does it look like to have a digital marketing business? And we call that the blueprint. So you can be more confident in what you're deciding to do. I encourage you, look at digital marketing. To me, it's been the best choice ever. And I'm coming in on my hour. You know what, Chris? You are so true, right? It's not the stress of going to a job you hate. Raise your hand, right? Everybody knows this. When you have to go to a job, when you have to get up and get out of bed, when you have to be ready for the day at a certain time, you're a night owl, right? And you have the early morning shift. When you have a second choice, when there's another option, that's what I want to bring. New options. So if you're new at this whole idea of digital marketing, there's other options for you. I want you to look at nevertoolateincome.com and get the information. So you guys, I'm signing off. I appreciate you all your time. I've had so many of you pop in and many of you have stayed. I'm so grateful for you all. So thank you again. I will be live again tomorrow. I will come by probably 8 o'clock tomorrow. And you guys have an amazing day. Thank you, friends. Thank you, Chris. You guys are amazing. I love you all, and I want you to be successful, and I wish you all the best in your day today. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Bye, friends. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. You guys are so sweet. This went way better than my last live, and I'm so grateful for you all. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, type it in the comments. I would love to get you the blueprint and put your email in, and you'll get my personal email. I will write you and you can communicate with me. I would love to hear from you and answer any of your questions. So thank you all. We will see you tomorrow.